Teresa paced between the kitchen and living room and then realized she still had the tissue. She threw it into the kitchen garbage and turned on the faucet to its fullest pressure and started washing her hands. She kept lathering and rinsing them, but they still felt unclean. Son of a bitch, she thought. Son of a fucking bitch. She roughly dried her hands with some paper towels and fought the impulse to wash them again by starting dinner early. She kept her hands moving quickly, chopping more onions, celery, and green peppers than she really needed. She vigorously seasoned the ground beef, jabbing the wooden spoon repeatedly into the red meat. When she stopped to catch her breath and glanced across the kitchen window, a pair of squinty black eyes were peering at her from the corner of a shade across the air shaft.
What the hell?
She threw down her spoon and ran over to the window.
You want to see what I'm doing?
The shade was pulled up with such force, it went spinning on its rollers at the top of the window. The eyes disappeared from the corner of the shade across the air shaft.
Here.
Teresa slammed the window up into its casing.
I'll even raise it so you can hear better. I'm making meatloaf, you old bat. Meatloaf.
She stuck her head out of the window.
The same way other people make it. Here, I'll show you.
She ran back to the table and took up a handful of chopped onions and threw them at Sophie's window.
See? That's the onions. And here's the chopped peppers.
The diced vegetables hit against the window pane.
Oh yeah, I use eggs.
2 eggs flew out of the window and splattered against Sophie's panes. Lorraine came out of the bathroom, toweling her hair.
What's all the shouting for? Who are you talking to?
She saw Teresa running back and forth across the kitchen, throwing their dinner out of the window.
Have you lost your mind?
Teresa picked up a jar of olives.
Now here's something freaky for you. Olives. I put olives in my meatloaf. So run up and down the street and tell that.
The jar of olives crashed against the opposite building, barely missing Sophie's window.
T, stop it.
Teresa put her head back out of the window.
Now olives are definitely weird. But you gotta take that one up with my grandmother because it's her recipe. Wait, I forgot the meat. Can't have you think I would make meatloaf without the meat.
Teresa!
Lorraine rushed into the kitchen.
No. Can't have you thinking that.
Teresa yelled as she swung her arm back to throw the bowl through Sophie's window.
You might feel like I'm a pervert or something. Someone you can't trust your damn children around.
Lorraine caught her arm just as she went to hurl the bowl out of the window. She grabbed the bowl and shoved Teresa against the wall.
Look,
Lorraine said, pressing against the struggling woman.
I know you're pissed off, but ground sirloin is almost $3 a pound.
The look of sincere horror on Lorraine's face as she cradled the bowl of meat in her arm made Teresa giggle. And then slowly she started laughing, and Lorraine nodded her head and laughed with her. Teresa laid her head back against the wall, and her plump throat vibrated from the full sounds passing through it. Lorraine let her go and put the bowl on the table. Teresa's sides were starting to ache from laughing, and she sat down in one of the kitchen chairs. Lorraine pushed the bowl a little further down the table from her, and this set them off again. Teresa laughed and rocked in the chair until tears were rolling down her cheeks. Then she crossed that fine line between laughter and tears and started to sob. Lorraine went over to her, cradled her head in her chest, and stroked her shoulders. She had no idea what brought on all of this, but it didn't matter. It felt good to be the one who could now comfort. The shade across the air shaft moved a fraction of an inch, and Sophie pressed one eye against her smeared and dripping window pane. She looked at the two women holding each other and shook her head.